Sarah's bombshell request to open their marriage blindsided Ryan, but she didn't know she was stepping into his trap. Behind her late nights and secret texts, Ryan's been gathering proof of her betrayal with his old rival, Ethan. What unfolds is a calculated takedown that flips their perfect life upside down. Brace for a story of deception, evidence, and a comeback that hits where it hurts. Ryan Miller, a 33-year-old high school baseball coach in Austin, Texas, was the kind of guy who made everyone feel like they belonged. He'd high-five his players after practice, crack dad jokes at neighborhood taco nights, and always had time to help a kid struggling with their swing. His wife, Sarah, 31, a graphic designer with a knack for turning ideas into art, was his perfect match. At least that's what everyone thought. They were the couple who'd post goofy TikToks of their scruffy mutt, Baxter, chasing his tail, or share playlists for their sunset walks along Lady Bird Lake. Friends envied their easy chemistry, the way they'd finish each other's sentences during game nights or laugh over a shared plate of nachos at their favorite food truck. To the outside world, Ryan and Sarah were living the American dream, stitched together by small, heartfelt moments. But cracks were forming, subtle at first, like a slow leak you don't notice until the room's half flooded. It started with Sarah's phone. She'd always been active on it, design apps, client chats, but now it was glued to her hand, even during their quiet evenings. Ryan would catch her smiling at the screen, her thumbs flying, only to lock it when he glanced over. "Just work," she'd say, her voice a little too quick. Their sunset walks became solo strolls for Ryan, with Sarah claiming she had to catch up on emails. The taco nights with neighbors? She'd beg off, citing deadlines, leaving Ryan to host alone, deflecting questions about her absence with a forced grin. At first, Ryan chalked it up to her career. Sarah's design firm was pitching big clients, and he knew how brutal deadlines could be. He'd been there himself, pulling late nights, planning game strategies, or mentoring his players. So he let it slide, telling himself it was a phase. He'd surprise her with coffee from her favorite Austin roaster, leave sticky notes with silly doodles on her laptop. Little gestures to keep their spark alive. But Sarah barely noticed. Her replies were distracted, her hugs perfunctory. The woman who used to tease him about his terrible karaoke now seemed annoyed when he tried to make her laugh. The shift wasn't just in her absence. It was in the way she carried herself. Sarah stopped asking about Ryan's day, about the team's latest win, or the kid who finally nailed a curveball. Their conversations, once endless, dwindled to logistics, bills, groceries, who'd walk Baxter. Ryan felt the distance growing, like a rope fraying strand by strand. He'd lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling, wondering if he'd done something wrong. Was he too focused on coaching? Not exciting enough? He pushed the thoughts down, clinging to the hope that their life, the one they'd built on trust and shared laughter, was still there. Then came a night that changed everything. It was a Thursday, and Ryan was sprawled on the couch, scrolling through game footage on his tablet. Sarah had texted earlier, "Stuck at work, big project. Don't wait up." He'd sighed, used to it by now, and ordered takeout for one. Around 10 p.m., her phone buzzed on the kitchen counter. She'd forgotten it in her rush out the door. Ryan ignored it first, but the screen lit up again, insistent. Curiosity got the better of him. He picked it up, telling himself he'd just check if it was urgent. The notification was from Ethan, a name that hit like a fastball to the chest. Ethan Carter, Ryan's old college teammate, the guy who'd always resented Ryan's spot as team captain, who'd sulk on the bench while Ryan led the team to victories. The text preview read, "Can't wait for our dinner tomorrow. Somewhere special." Ryan's stomach twisted. He didn't unlock the phone, didn't need to. The words burned into his mind, each one a question he didn't want to ask but couldn't ignore. Why was Ethan texting Sarah? Why special? And why was she hiding it? He set the phone down, his hands shaking, and sat in the dark, the takeout growing cold. He didn't confront her when she got home, slipping into bed at midnight with a mumbled, "Sorry, crazy day." Instead, he lay still, his mind racing. This wasn't just a phase. Something was wrong, deeply wrong. The next morning, Ryan made a decision. He wasn't the type to jump to conclusions, but he wasn't a fool either. If Sarah was hiding something, he'd find out. Not by yelling or accusing. That wasn't his style. He needed proof, something undeniable. Over coffee, while Sarah was in the shower, he downloaded a GPS tracking app and synced it to a small device he'd ordered online. It was discreet, magnetic, easy to slip under the wheel well of her car. He hated himself for it, but the text from Ethan left him no choice. If Sarah was lying, he'd know where she was going. And if she wasn't, well, he'd deal with the guilt later. That evening, Sarah left for a client meeting. Ryan opened the app, watching the red dot of her car move across Austin. It didn't head to her office downtown. Instead, it veered towards South Congress, stopping at a trendy gastropub known for its intimate booths and craft cocktails. Ryan's heart pounded, but he stayed calm. He grabbed his keys, slid his phone into his pocket, and drove, the city lights blurring as his mind churned. Whatever he was about to find, there was no going back. That Ryan's heart raced as the GPS led him to a chic Austin gastropub, not Sarah's office. Her client meeting was a lie, and Ethan, his old rival, was the truth waiting to be exposed. Camera in hand, Ryan's ready to catch her red-handed. But what he sees next isn't just betrayal. It's a knife to the chest, pushing him to set a trap that'll turn their world upside down. Get ready for a showdown that's only just beginning. Ryan gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white as he navigated Austin's bustling South Congress Avenue. The GPS app on his phone glowed, the red is steady at a gastropub known for its low lighting and overpriced cocktails, a place Sarah once called too pretentious for their taste. Her text about a client meeting echoed in his mind, clashing with the memory of Ethan's message. Can't wait for our dinner tomorrow. Somewhere special. Every traffic light felt like a taunt, stretching the distance between him and the truth. He wasn't sure what he'd find, but the knot in his stomach told him it wasn't good. He parked a block away, blending into the evening crowd of hipsters and tourists. The gastropub's neon sign flickered, casting a glow on the sidewalk. Ryan adjusted his cap, pulled out his phone, and switched to video mode, his hands steady despite the adrenaline. He found a spot across the street, close enough to see through the window, but far enough to stay unnoticed. And there she was, Sarah, sitting in a corner booth, her laugh carrying over the hum of the crowd. Across from her was Ethan Carter, his college teammate who'd always simmered with jealousy over Ryan's success as team captain. Ethan leaned in, his smirk unmistakable, his hand brushing Sarah's across the table. Ryan zoomed in, capturing every detail. The way Sarah's eyes lit up, the way she twirled her wine glass, a gesture she hadn't done with him in months. They weren't discussing work. This was no client meeting. The video rolled as Ethan reached for her hand again, their fingers interlocking. Ryan's chest tightened, but he kept filming, his breath shallow. Then it happened. Ethan leaned across the table, and Sarah met him halfway. Their kiss was brief but deliberate, like they'd done it before. Ryan's phone trembled slightly, but he didn't stop recording. This was the proof he needed, the kind that cut through lies like a blade. He could have stormed in, made a scene, but that wasn't Ryan. He was a coach, a strategist. He played the long game. Instead, he followed them as they left the gastropub, keeping his distance. Sarah's car, with the GPS tracker still attached, led to a boutique hotel a few miles away. Ryan parked in the shadows, filming as they walked in, Ethan's arm around her waist. The footage was undeniable, each second burning into his memory. He drove home in silence, the city's lights blurring past. The pain was there, sharp and raw, but something else was growing, a cold, focused resolve. Back at their house, Ryan sat at the kitchen table, replaying the video. Each frame confirmed what he'd feared, but hadn't wanted to believe. Sarah wasn't just distant. She was gone, living a double life with Ethan, the guy who'd spent years trying to one-up him. Ryan remembered Ethan's taunts in college, his bitter glares from the bench while Ryan led the team to championships. Now, Ethan had found a new way to strike, through Sarah. But Ryan wasn't the same naive kid from back then. He'd outsmarted Ethan before, and he'd do it again. The next morning, Sarah acted like nothing had changed. She sipped coffee, scrolled through her phone, and kissed Ryan's cheek before heading to work. He watched her leave, his face a mask of calm, but his mind was racing. Confronting her now would only lead to denials, tears, maybe even that tired open-arm marriage excuse he'd read about in stories like this. No, he needed more than a fight. He needed leverage. Ethan wasn't just anyone. He was married to Claire, a tech entrepreneur who'd built a startup empire from the ground up. Claire was sharp, ruthless in business, and not someone who'd take kindly to being played. If Ryan could get the evidence to her, Ethan's charmed life would unravel. He spent the day digging. A quick search on X revealed Claire's public profile. She was active, posting about her company's latest app launch. Ryan found a direct message option and drafted a careful note. Claire, I'm Ryan Miller, Sarah's husband. I have something you need to see about Ethan. Can we talk? He attached a still from a video, just enough to prove he wasn't bluffing. His finger hovered over send, his heart pounding. This was the point of no return. He hit the button and waited, the seconds ticking by like hours. That evening, Sarah texted, running late again, client dinner. Don't wait up. Ryan checked the GPS app. The red dot moved to a wine bar downtown, not far from the gastropub. He didn't follow this time. He had what he needed. Instead, he opened his laptop and backed up the videos to a secure drive. His phone buzzed with a new message. Not from Sarah, but from Claire. Call me. Now. Her tone was ice cold, and Ryan knew she'd seen the still. He dialed, his voice steady as he prepared to lay out the truth. Claire listened in silence as he explained. Sarah's lies, Ethan's betrayal, the footage. Send me everything, she said, her voice clipped. I'll handle it. Ryan sent the files, his hands no longer shaking. The trap was set, but Sarah didn't know it yet. She'd walk through their door tonight, oblivious, thinking her secret was safe. But Ryan was ready. Tomorrow, she'd face the consequences, and so would Ethan. The game was on, and Ryan was playing to win. Sarah thinks she's untouchable, slipping home with lies on her lips, but Ryan's one step ahead. With damning footage of her affair with Ethan sent to Ethan's wife, Claire, Ryan's trap is set. Tonight, he'll confront Sarah, not with anger, but with cold, hard truth. As the clock ticks, the stage is ready for a showdown that'll shatter her world. Buckle up, this clash is about to ignite. Ryan sat in the living room, the TV muted, its flickering light the only movement in the house. His phone rested on the coffee table, the video of Sarah and Ethan queued up, ready to play. The divorce papers, neatly signed, lay beside it, their weight heavier than the ink on the page. He'd spent the day preparing, his conversation with Claire still ringing in his ears. She'd been all business, promising to deal with Ethan, but Ryan's focus was Sarah. She'd lied for weeks, maybe months, and tonight, she'd face the consequences. The clock hit 11:17 p.m. when the front door clicked open. Sarah stepped in, her keys jangling as she kicked off her shoes. Hey, sorry I'm late, she called, her voice light, practiced. Client dinner ran long. She dropped her bag on the counter and glanced at Ryan, expecting him to nod and move on like always. But he didn't. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, and met her eyes with a steadiness that made her pause. Sit down, he said, his tone calm but unyielding, gesturing to the couch across from him. Sarah hesitated, a flicker of unease crossing her face. What's up? She asked, forcing a laugh as she perched on the edge of the seat. Ryan didn't smile. He picked up his phone, unlocked it, and set it between them. Before you say anything else, I want you to watch this. He hit play. The gastropub footage filled the screen, Sarah and Ethan, hands entwined, laughing, then kissing. The audio caught her giggle, a sound Ryan hadn't heard in their home for months. Sarah's face drained of color, her breath catching as the video looped to the hotel clip, showing them walking in, Ethan's arm around her. She reached for the phone, but Ryan pulled it back. Don't, he said, his voice low. You don't get to look away. Ryan, she started, her voice trembling. It's not what it looks like. He raised an eyebrow, cutting her off with a bitter chuckle. Not what it looks like. You're kissing him, Sarah. You're checking into a hotel with him. Try again. She stammered, her hands twisting in her lap. It was a mistake, okay? A one-time thing. I was stressed and... Stop, Ryan said, his voice sharper now. How long? Sarah blinked, caught off guard. What? How long have you been lying to me? Weeks? Months? He leaned closer, his gaze unrelenting. And don't tell me it's a mistake when you're texting him about special dinners and sneaking off to wine bars. Her mouth opened, then closed, her excuses crumbling under the weight of his evidence. Finally, she slumped back, her voice barely a whisper. A few months. I didn't mean for it to happen. I just felt trapped. Our life, it's so routine. I needed something more. Ryan's jaw tightened, but he didn't flinch. Trapped. He repeated, the word bitter on his tongue. So, instead of talking to me, you're into Ethan? Ethan Carter, Of all people, who's been gunning for me since college? Sarah's eyes widened. You know him? Ryan's laugh was hollow. Know him? He spent 4 years trying to steal my spot on the team, glaring from the bench while I led us to wins. And now he's after my wife. But you knew that, didn't you? She shook her head, but the guilt in her eyes betrayed her. Ryan leaned back, his voice dropping to a dangerous calm. Here's the thing, Sarah. You didn't just betray me. You thought you could play me for a fool. He slid the divorce papers across the table. Sarah stared at them, her breath hitching. Ryan, no. We can fix this. I messed up, but I love you. Her voice cracked, tears welling, but Ryan didn't waver. Love, he said, standing. You don't lie to someone you love. You don't sneak around with their rival and call a mistake. He paused, letting the silence stretch. Oh, and one more thing. I sent the video to Claire. Sarah froze. Claire, Ethan's wife. Her voice was barely audible, panic creeping in. Ryan nodded. Yeah, she's not the forgiving type. I figured she deserved to know what her husband's been up to. Sarah's hands flew to her mouth. You didn't. Ryan, she'll ruin him. Good, Ryan said, his tone final. And you? You're on your own now. He grabbed his phone and the papers, heading for the door. Sarah lunged after him, grabbing his arm. Please don't do this. We can work it out. I'll end it with Ethan, I swear. Ryan pulled free, looking at her one last time. You set your own traps, Sarah. You walked into it the moment you chose him over us. He stepped outside, the night air cool against his skin, and didn't look back as her sobs echoed behind him. In his car, Ryan exhaled, the weight of the confrontation settling. He'd expected to feel rage, maybe even relief, but all he felt was clarity. Sarah's betrayal was her choice, and now she'd face the fallout. Claire had the evidence, and Ryan knew she'd act, fast and mercilessly. Ethan's charmed life, built on Claire's success, was about to collapse. But Ryan wasn't done. He opened his phone, checking the GPS app. Sarah's car was still at home, but he'd keep the tracker active. If she ran to Ethan, he'd know. The game wasn't over yet. Sarah's world crumbles as Ryan's trap snaps shut, but Ethan's about to face a storm he never saw coming. Claire, armed with Ryan's evidence, unleashes a calculated strike that'll strip Ethan of everything. As the fallout spreads, Sarah scrambles to save herself, but the consequences are closing in fast. Get ready for a whirlwind of reckoning that hits hard and leaves no one unscathed. The morning after the confrontation, Ryan woke to the buzz of his phone. Notifications flooded his screen, texts, missed calls, voicemails, all from Sarah. Please, let's talk, one read. I'm sorry. I'll fix this, said another. He deleted them without replying, his focus elsewhere. Claire's message from late last night sat unanswered. It's done. Check X. Ryan opened the app, and there it was, a storm breaking across Austin's social media scene. An anonymous post, tagged with Ethan's business handles, showed the gastropub video. Ethan and Sarah, hands linked, kissing, followed by the hotel clip. The caption was brutal. Trust is earned, not bought. Hashtag cheaters exposed. Comments exploded, colleagues, clients, even Ethan's old college buddies piling on with shock and disgust. Ethan's consulting firm, already shaky from his lackluster performance, took the hit. By noon, ex-posts from industry insiders confirmed his biggest client had dropped him, citing reputational concerns. Claire hadn't just shared the evidence. She'd weaponized it, ensuring Ethan's professional network saw every second. Ryan scrolled, his jaw tight. He hadn't expected Claire to move this fast, but her precision was surgical. Sarah, meanwhile, wasn't faring much better. The video had spread to her professional circle, where office gossip moved faster than wildfire. Her design firm, already under pressure from a high-stakes campaign, caught wind of the scandal. A colleague's DM to Ryan confirmed it. Sarah's affair was the talk of the office, and her biggest freelance client, a local startup, pulled their contract, unwilling to tie their brand to drama. Sarah's text to Ryan grew desperate. They're cutting me off. Please call me. He ignored them, his silence louder than any argument. Ryan spent the day at the baseball field, running drills with his team. The kids' energy, laughing, chasing grounders, kept him grounded. He wasn't gloating over Sarah's downfall or Ethan's ruin. He was just done carrying their weight. But the game wasn't over. Claire called that afternoon, her voice crisp. You didn't just save yourself, Ryan. You gave me a way out, too. Ethan's been coasting on my success for years. I'm done. She paused, then added, I know people at the Austin Sport Academy. They need a coach like you. I'll make the intro. Ryan thanked her, stunned. Claire wasn't just dismantling Ethan. She was opening doors for him. By evening, Sarah showed up at the field, her car parked crookedly in the lot. Ryan spotted her as practice wrapped, the kids jogging off to their parents. She approached, her steps hesitant, her voice low. Ryan, we need to talk. He crossed his arms, keeping his distance. You said enough last night. She bit her lip, eyes red from crying. I did it with Ethan. I know I messed up, but we can rebuild. I'll do whatever it takes. Ryan shook his head, his voice steady. You didn't just mess up, Sarah. You chose him over us, over everything we built. There's no going back. She reached for his hand, but he stepped back. The divorce papers are filed. My lawyer's handling it. You'll get the details soon. Sarah's shoulders slumped, her voice breaking. I didn't mean for this to happen. You thought you wouldn't get caught. Ryan cut in. But you did. And now Ethan's paying too. He nodded toward her phone, buzzing with notifications. Check X. Your boyfriend's not doing so hot. Sarah's eyes widened as she opened the app, scrolling through the fallout. Ethan's reputation was in tatters, clients gone, his social circle shrinking by the hour. She looked up, panic etched in her movements. Claire did this. Ryan didn't answer, just turned to grab his gear. You made your choices, Sarah. Live with them. He walked away, the field's lights flickering on as dusk settled, leaving her standing alone. Later that night, Ryan sat at a local diner, sipping coffee and checking his phone. A new message from Claire confirmed Ethan had been served divorce papers too. She'd frozen their joint accounts, leaving him with nothing but his failing business. Ethan tried calling Sarah. His voicemails leaked online by an anonymous source, likely Claire, begging her to fix this. But Sarah was a liability now, not an asset. Ethan's charm, his only currency, was worthless without Claire's backing. Ryan leaned back, the diner's hum a quiet backdrop. He wasn't reveling in their downfall. He was just free. The Austin Sports Academy contact Claire sent was real, a chance to coach at a higher level, to build something new. Sarah and Ethan would scramble, maybe even turn on each other, but that wasn't his concern anymore. He played his hand, and the board was clear. Tomorrow, he'd meet with his lawyer to finalize the divorce. For now, he paid his bill and stepped into the night, ready for whatever came next. Ryan's trap worked. Sarah and Ethan are reeling, their lives in ruins after Claire's ruthless takedown. But Ryan's not celebrating. He's rebuilding. As Sarah clings to excuses and Ethan scrambles for scraps, Ryan steps into a new future. Will he find peace, or will the past pull him back? Buckle up for a finale where justice lands hard and redemption rises from the ashes. Ryan stood on the sidelines of the Austin Sport Academy's pristine field, the late summer sun casting long shadows. His new team, a talented group of high school athletes, sprinted through drills, their shouts blending with the rhythm of cleats on grass. It had been 6 months since he walked away from Sarah, 6 months since Claire's calculated leak on X turned Ethan's world upside down. Ryan hadn't looked back, but the echoes of that night still lingered, not as pain, but as a reminder of what he'd overcome. Sarah's attempts to reach him hadn't stopped. Her texts, now less frequent, still arrived. Apologies, pleas for a meeting, promises to make things right. Ryan never responded. The divorce was finalized weeks ago, the papers processed with cold efficiency. He'd walked away with their savings, the house, and Baxter, their scruffy mutt, who now bounded around the backyard of Ryan's new rental. Sarah had moved to a small apartment across town. Her freelance career stalled after the scandal. Her last message, received that morning, read, I know I hurt you. I'm trying to be better. Ryan deleted it, his focus on the present. She'd made her choices. He wasn't her redemption story. Ethan's fall was steeper. Claire's anonymous post on X had snowballed, shredding his consulting business. Clients vanished, his LinkedIn profile went dormant, and his social circle, built on Claire's connections, evaporated. Leaked voicemails showed him begging Sarah for help, blaming her for his downfall, but she was no savior. Claire, true to her word, had cut him off entirely, divorcing him and freezing their accounts. Ex-posts from local gossip accounts hinted Ethan was crashing on a friend's couch, scraping by with odd jobs. The guy who'd once taunted Ryan from the college bench was now a nobody, his charm useless without Claire's wealth to prop him up. Ryan didn't revel in their ruin. Revenge hadn't been his goal. Truth had. Exposing Sarah and Ethan was about reclaiming his life, not destroying theirs. Still, the fallout felt just. They'd gambled with trust and lost everything. Ryan, meanwhile, was building something new. Claire's introduction to the Austin Sports Academy had been a game-changer. The head coach, impressed by Ryan's high school record, offered him a spot leading their elite summer program. The pay was better, the stakes higher, and the work lit a fire in Ryan he hadn't felt in years. Today, the academy was hosting a community barbecue, a chance for players and families to bond. Ryan flipped burgers on the grill, joking with parents, and tossing a frisbee to Baxter between servings. His phone buzzed, another message, this time from Claire. Heard you're killing it at the academy. You earned this. Stay strong. Ryan smiled, typing a quick thanks for the connect. Claire hadn't just helped him professionally. Her gratitude had reminded him that honesty, even when it hurt, was worth it. As the barbecue wound down, one of Ryan's players, a lanky kid named Javier, approached. Coach, you coming to the championship game next week? Ryan grinned, clapping him on the shoulder. Wouldn't miss it, Javi. We're bringing home that trophy. The kid beamed, running off to join his friends. Ryan watched, a quiet pride settling in. This was his life now. Coaching, community, purpose. No lies, no games. Sarah made one last attempt that evening. Ryan was packing up equipment when her car pulled into the lot. She stepped out, hesitant, holding a small envelope. I just need a minute, she said, her voice soft but steady. Ryan crossed his arms, keeping his distance. What's this, Sarah? She held out the envelope. It's a letter. I wrote down everything. Why I did it, how sorry I am. You don't have to read it, but I needed to give it to you. Ryan didn't take it. I don't need your reasons, he said. You made your choices. I've made mine. Sarah's shoulders sagged, but she didn't push. I know I lost you, she whispered. I just hope you're happy. She set the envelope on a nearby bench and walked back to her car. Ryan watched her drive away, then tossed the letter in a nearby trash can, unopened. Her words couldn't change the past, and he wasn't looking back. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Ryan joined the team for a final huddle. The kids chanted their team motto, their voices loud and united. Ryan felt the weight of the last year lift, replaced by a clarity he hadn't known he'd find. Sarah and Ethan were footnotes now, their lives unraveling while his grew stronger. The final message to the audience rang clear. Betrayal cuts deep, but truth rebuilds. Choose yourself, and the rest will follow.